Start by exploring what behavioral evidence actually means. Behavioral evidence refers to the observable actions, reactions, and patterns that people display in various situations. Unlike physical evidence, which includes tangible items, behavioral evidence is all about what people do, how they interact, and the choices they make. This kind of evidence is crucial in fields like psychology, law enforcement, and even marketing, because it helps us understand motivations and intention. By paying close attention to behavior, we can often uncover truths that words alone might hide. So, as we move forward, keep in mind that behavioral evidence is all around us, waiting to be interpreted. Behavioral evidence plays a significant role in understanding human nature. It allows us to see beyond what someone says and focus on what they actually do. For example, in a courtroom, a person's nervous gestures or avoidance of eye contact can offer clues about their honesty. In everyday life, noticing someone's consistent habits can reveal their true preferences or feelings. By interpreting these subtle cues, professionals and laypeople alike can make more informed decisions. This is why behavioral evidence is considered a powerful tool for gaining deeper insights into people's minds and actions. Behavioral evidence comes in many forms. It can be as simple as a smile, a frown, or a nervous twitch. It might also include more complex patterns like repeated actions or routines. Some types are easy to spot, such as someone packing when anxious, while others require careful observation over time. In professional settings, experts often categorize behavioral evidence into verbal and nonverbal cues, habits, routines, and even digital footprint. Each type offers its own set of insights, helping us piece together the bigger picture of someone's behavior. Nonverbal cues are a major component of behavioral evidence. These include body language, facial expressions, gestures, and posture. For instance, crossed arms might signal defensiveness, while a genuine smile can indicate comfort and openness. Observing these cues helps us interpret emotions and intentions that might not be expressed verbally. Nonverbal communication often happens subconsciously, making it a reliable source of evidence when trying to understand someone's true feelings or state of mind. Verbal cues are another important aspect of behavioral evidence. This includes not just what people say, but how they say it, their tone, pace, and choice of words. Sometimes, inconsistencies in a person's story or hesitation in their speech can reveal uncertainty or deception. Paying attention to these verbal details can help us detect underlying emotions or intentions. Whether in interviews, conversations, or interrogations, verbal cues provide valuable information that complements nonverbal signals. Habits and routines form a consistent pattern in a person's behavior. These repeated actions can tell us a lot about someone's personality, preferences, and even their state of mind. For example, someone who always checks the door lock twice before leaving may be cautious or anxious. By observing these routines, we can gain insights into what matters most to a person and how they cope with daily life. Over time, these patterns become a rich source of behavioral evidence. Today's digital world, our online activities leave behind a trail of behavioral evidence known as digital footprints. This includes the websites we visit, the content we like or share, and even the time we spend on certain apps. Analysts can use this information to understand our interests, habits, and even predict future behavior. Digital footprints are increasingly important in fields like marketing, security, and social research, offering a new dimension to behavioral analysis. Behavioral evidence doesn't exist in a vacuum. The context in which a behavior occurs is crucial for accurate interpretation. For instance, someone might appear nervous in a job interview simply because they care about the outcome, not because they're hiding something. Understanding the environment, circumstances, and cultural background helps us avoid misreading behavioral cues. Always consider the bigger picture when analyzing actions and reaction. One isolated action rarely tells the whole story. It's the patterns that emerge over time that provide the most reliable behavioral evidence. By tracking repeated behaviors, we can distinguish between one-off incidents and genuine habits. This long-term perspective is especially useful in psychology and law enforcement, where understanding trends can lead to more accurate conclusions about a person's character or intention. Microexpressions are brief, involuntary facial expressions that reveal true emotions, often before a person can hide them. These tiny flashes of feeling can be powerful behavioral evidence, especially in high-stakes situations like negotiations or interrogations. Learning to spot microexpressions takes practice, but it can provide deep insights into what someone is really feeling, even if their words say otherwise. Body language is a universal form of behavioral evidence. From the way someone stands to the gestures they use, body language can communicate confidence, nervousness, openness, or defensiveness. For example, open palms often signal honesty, while fidgeting may indicate discomfort. By learning the basics of body language, we can better interpret the unspoken messages people send. Tone of someone's voice can be just as revealing as their words. A shaky voice might indicate nervousness, while a steady, calm tone suggests confidence. Changes in pitch, volume, or speed can all serve as behavioral evidence, helping us understand a person's emotional state or intentions. Listening carefully to how something is said can often reveal more than the actual content of the message. Specific words people choose can provide behavioral evidence about their mindset or intentions. For example, someone who frequently uses negative language may be feeling pessimistic, while positive word choices can signal optimism. In interviews or interrogations, word choice can also indicate truthfulness or deception. Paying attention to language patterns helps us read between the lines. Spotting inconsistencies between what someone says and what they do is a key part of analyzing behavioral evidence. For instance, if a person claims to be confident but displays nervous body language, this mismatch can be a red flag. Inconsistencies often point to hidden feelings or intentions, making them valuable clues in investigations or personal interactions. Cultural background can greatly influence behavioral evidence. Gestures, expressions, and even personal space vary from one culture to another. What might be considered rude in one country could be perfectly normal in another. Understanding these differences is essential for accurate interpretation, especially in multicultural environments. Always consider cultural context when analyzing behavior. Environment can shape how people behave. Stressful settings, loud noises, or even temperature can influence actions and reactions. For example, someone might appear impatient simply because they're uncomfortable in a crowded room. Recognizing the impact of environmental factors helps us avoid misinterpreting behavioral evidence and leads to more accurate conclusions. When people are under stress, their behavior often changes in noticeable ways. They might become more irritable, withdrawn, or display nervous habits like tapping their fingers. These stress responses are important behavioral evidence, especially in high-pressure situations. By recognizing signs of stress, we can better understand what someone is experiencing and respond appropriately. Certain behaviors can indicate deception. These might include avoiding eye contact, inconsistent stories, or nervous gestures. However, it's important to remember that no single sign proves someone is lying. Instead, look for clusters of deceptive behaviors and consider the context. Skilled investigators use behavioral evidence to spot deception, but always combine it with other forms of evidence for accuracy. Behavioral evidence can reveal what motivates a person. For example, someone who volunteers regularly may be driven by a desire to help others, while someone who works overtime might be motivated by ambition or financial need. By observing actions and choices, we can gain insights into the underlying motivations that shape behavior. Emotions often show up in our behavior before we even realize it. Quick changes in facial expressions, sudden shifts in tone, or impulsive actions can all serve as behavioral evidence of underlying feelings. By paying attention to these emotional reactions, we can better understand how someone truly feels, even if they try to hide it. Consistent behavior over time is a strong indicator of someone's true character. When actions align with words and remain steady across different situations, it builds trust and credibility. In contrast, frequent changes or contradictions can signal uncertainty or deception. Observing consistency is a key part of evaluating behavioral evidence. In legal settings, behavioral evidence is often used to assess credibility and intent. Lawyers and investigators watch for signs of nervousness, hesitation, or overconfidence during testimony. These observations can influence the outcome of a case, especially when combined with physical evidence. Understanding behavioral cues is a valuable skill in the courtroom. Psychologists rely heavily on behavioral evidence to diagnose and treat patients. By observing actions, speech patterns, and emotional responses, they can identify underlying issues and tailor interventions. Behavioral evidence provides a window into the mind, helping professionals develop effective treatment plans and track progress over time. Marketers use behavioral evidence to understand consumer preferences and predict buying habits. By analyzing purchase history, browsing behavior, and engagement with ads, companies can tailor their strategies to better meet customer needs. Behavioral evidence helps businesses stay competitive and responsive in a fast-changing market. Teachers and educators use behavioral evidence to assess student engagement and learning progress. Signs like participation, attention span, and homework completion provide clues about a student's understanding and motivation. By observing these behaviors, educators can adjust their teaching methods to better support each learner. In the workplace, behavioral evidence helps managers understand team dynamics and employee satisfaction. Observing interactions, work habits, and communication styles can reveal strengths and areas for improvement. This information is valuable for building effective teams, resolving conflicts, and boosting productivity. Parents and partners often rely on behavioral evidence to understand the needs and feelings of loved ones. Changes in mood, routines, or communication can signal happiness, stress, or other emotions. By staying attentive to these cues, relationships can become stronger and more supportive. While behavioral evidence is valuable, it's not foolproof. People can sometimes mask their true feelings or intentionally mislead others. Environmental factors, cultural differences, and personal experiences can all influence behavior in ways that are hard to interpret. That's why it's important to use behavioral evidence alongside other types of information for a complete understanding. Interpreting behavioral evidence comes with ethical responsibilities. It's important to respect privacy and avoid making unfair judgments based on limited information. Professionals must ensure that their observations are objective and free from personal bias. Ethical use of behavioral evidence builds trust and protects the rights of individuals. Most accurate conclusions come from combining behavioral evidence with other forms of evidence, such as physical or digital records. This holistic approach reduces the risk of misinterpretation and strengthens the overall analysis. Whether in investigations, therapy, or business, using multiple sources of information leads to better outcomes. Developing strong observation skills is key to interpreting behavioral evidence accurately. This means paying attention to details, staying objective, and avoiding assumptions. Practice and experience help sharpen these skills, making it easier to spot subtle cues and patterns in behavior. Sometimes, the best way to gather behavioral evidence is by asking thoughtful questions. Open-ended questions encourage people to share more about their thoughts and feelings, revealing patterns and motivations. Listening carefully to responses and observing reactions can provide valuable insights that go beyond surface-level answers. Active listening is a powerful tool for gathering behavioral evidence. This means fully focusing on the speaker, noticing both verbal and nonverbal cues, and responding thoughtfully. Active listening builds trust and helps uncover deeper insights into a person's behavior and emotions. It's easy to jump to conclusions based on limited behavioral evidence, but assumptions can lead to misunderstandings. Always seek additional information and consider alternative explanations for someone's actions. Being open-minded and cautious helps ensure more accurate interpretations. Interpreting behavioral evidence is a skill that improves with continuous learning. Staying updated on new research, techniques, and cultural trends helps refine your understanding. Whether you're a professional or just curious, ongoing education is key to becoming more skilled at reading behavior. Advances in technology have made it easier to collect and analyze behavioral evidence. Tools like video analysis, biometric sensors, and data analytics provide new ways to observe and interpret behavior. Technology enhances accuracy and allows for more detailed insights, especially in large-scale studies or investigations. Everyone has biases that can affect how they interpret behavioral evidence. Being aware of personal biases and striving for objectivity is essential for accurate analysis. Regular self-reflection and seeking feedback from others can help minimize the impact of bias. Imagine a job interview where the candidate maintains steady eye contact, answers confidently, but fidgets with their hands. By combining these observations, the interviewer can form a more complete picture of the candidate's confidence and nervousness. This real-life example shows how behavioral evidence works in practice. In a classroom, a teacher notices a student who rarely participates but always completes assignments on time. This behavioral evidence suggests the student may be shy but diligent. By recognizing these patterns, the teacher can offer support tailored to the student's needs. A company tracks which products customers view most often and which ads they click. This behavioral evidence helps the company adjust its marketing strategy to better match customer interests, leading to increased sales and satisfaction. Law enforcement officers use behavioral evidence to assess suspects during interrogations. Signs like avoiding eye contact, inconsistent stories, or sudden changes in behavior can provide valuable clues. These observations, combined with other evidence, help build stronger cases. In relationships, partners often notice changes in behavior that signal deeper issues. For example, a sudden withdrawal or change in communication style can indicate stress or unhappiness. Recognizing and addressing these behavioral cues can strengthen relationships and resolve conflicts. To get better at interpreting behavioral evidence, practice observing people in different settings. Take notes on patterns, reactions, and context. Over time, you'll develop a sharper eye for subtle cues and a deeper understanding of human behavior. Let's recap what we've learned about behavioral evidence. It's all about observing actions, patterns, and reactions to gain insights into people's true feelings and intentions. By combining different types of evidence, considering context, and staying objective, we can make more accurate interpretations. Remember, behavioral evidence is a powerful tool, but it should always be used responsibly and ethically. As we continue to learn about human behavior, the importance of behavioral evidence will only grow. Whether you're a professional or simply interested in understanding others, developing these observation and interpretation skills can enrich your personal and professional life. Stay curious, keep practicing, and remember that every action tells a story.